Hey everyone, Mondays with Matt. Great to have you watching and listening in. Matt, let's dive right into it. We didn't get to record last week because we were all traveling back from EDUCAUSE, but I thought it'd be good to just get some initial opening thoughts from you on EDUCAUSE, your experience there, and your takeaways from it.
Yeah, it was a really good conference. Everything was about AI, and there was conversations all over the place. I think AI is really going to be impactful when we start to see the operational change in how we serve, how we operate, how we drive, outcomes. I think that's going to be a really important piece. And as we at Beyond start to put our investment and thought through this, our goal is to make impact on whatever AI is going to do on a campus. We're going to be able to show to you, hey, this is why you should be using AI. Not just using AI because it's in a software, using AI because the campus actually necessarily needs it to change the way that they operate.
So let's talk about that, the changing the way campus operates, right? You're a big future of work guy, and you're one of the only people in the industry who's been thinking about how will departments down to teams within departments transform what they do in order to be ready for the future of work, right? Because no one wants to be left behind. So talk a little bit about your whole thing of workflows and AI and where you believe AI is really going to be transformational, not just in these software systems that are saying, oh, we put AI into our software.
Yeah. Location intelligence, feedback loop, mobile devices, that has changed how we experience industry, Uber, Netflix, all these things, right? Do you notice in higher ed, we haven't really used any of those technologies in a way to operate more effectively?
And you're saying even 10 years ago, we didn't take on some of this stuff. 5 years ago, we didn't take on some of this stuff.
Yeah, because they didn't look at it through a future of work lens. Future of work really means what is the work of the future using the technologies or the advancements of today? And I mean, the fact that today I could change a flight using an AI agent in seconds, in 35 seconds, I was able to get on a new flight much faster. Why? Because industry is starting to say, how do we take advantage of the technology that we have and the ability to use it? So in higher
Matt,
ed,
let me ask you a quick question.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a quick question. Let's say somebody listening to what you just said says, oh, no. I don't want that kind of an experience in higher ed because I could lose my job. I'm the person who takes the inbound phone call from the student. I'm the advisor who talks to them. What do you mean they could text into a system and it could have a human-like conversation, solve the problem, and have me out the door in a few seconds? I could lose my job. What would you say to someone like that or a manager who's dealing with people like that?
Yeah. Today's higher ed campus experience is probably a 3. Okay. And the reason it's a 3, humans who have the jobs are not doing human work. They're not doing the things humans should do. They're managing, lists, they're data entering, they're doing everything what I call structured activities where it's mundane, it's repetitive. Sure, you're going to lose doing that work, but man, the gap between a 3 and a 10 requires humans to be a part of that campus experience. So if you want to become a 10, and I don't ever think you're going to get to a 10, you'll probably get to an 8 out of a 10 in experience.
That would be amazing.
It'll be amazing. But campuses today, if you look at their mobile experience, you look at their in-person experience, you look at the way that they solve problems, it's probably ranked at a 3 compared to anything we feel in market. So when people say, well, it's going to make me lose jobs, I'm like, no, because there is a delta of work that requires humans to be humans to serve that student more effectively. So that example that I gave you about me changing my flight to Houston the other day, I called in, they said, do you want to use our automated system? And I said, you know what? I don't want to wait 10 minutes. I don't want to wait 20 minutes. I want to get on a standby flight. So it texted me, I did standby. And through that process, eventually a human stepped into that moment and said, hey, I can actually get you on that earlier flight. You don't need to be a standby. So it went from an agent, and the agent which was an automative agent, went to a human. That human knew I didn't want to pay anything more. Just
Sure.
think about the concept of that human. In the old days, I would have to wait for that human to become available, and all the things that that AI agent did to get me prepared for that, what I needed, where I was going, what my United number was, all that was kind of done fast. It was
Mm.
very effectively done. So when the human came to the point of meeting me,
You were in and out.
she knew
Yeah.
exactly what I needed to do. I want to help you. Do you want me to get you a seat? I can get it to you at no cost.
So
I was
here's a
like,
question, Matt. How, so we spoke to the person who's worried about AI is going to replace my job, right?
yeah,
The answer is no, it's not. It's just going to make your job a whole lot easier, a whole lot less mundane, a whole lot more fun and interactive with real humans.
yeah,
What about the leader who's listening going, love that, Matt, love the example, love the analogy, would love to offer that to our students where they can solve problems quickly and not have to wait. But how many tens of millions of dollars would it take to do something like that? Like, are we going to have to take our institution and turn it completely upside down on its head? Like, like I can imagine if I'm in higher ed and I'm doing the job of 3 people and I'm working 50 plus hours a week, I don't have time to think about this stuff. I need people like you, Matt, to think about it for me and bring me some fresh ideas. So with that in mind, yeah, how far out is this? Is this 3 years out, 5 years out, this kind of experience for students? And what is it going to take in a lift to get there as an
yeah.
institution?
And the answer is no, it won't be millions and millions of dollars invested in this type of activity, especially these use cases that could have high impact right away. It isn't going to be as expensive as the configuration of an old, outdated legacy system into a
Mm,
cloud system, which is you're just configuring old stuff, right? In this new model of agents and sub agents and AI and everything else, you're going to see this faster than anything else. This is actually going to be products. They're actually going to change the operations of a campus, and you're going to be able to design that. Why? Because we're not going to go and relabel and redo the flows of your legacy system. No, we're going to reimagine how you serve. The fact that 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 agent helped me get my outcome done. So it's going to be based on outcomes, and it's going to be based on workflows. It's going to be based on AI, and it's going to be guided pathways. So these one stops and stuff that you're seeing, those are going to become a lot more powerful because those one stops are going to have access to the data that agent had when they were serving me. That human agent knew everything about me by the time I got there. Hey, I see you're on this trip. I know that you want to get on a standby flight. I'm going to help you. Why? The outcome is my satisfaction. My outcome is to get to Houston. That's what they would really focus on. They weren't focused on, well, we're going to have to follow this rule and that rule and this rule. Well, that's kind of going to go away because we're going to move those things out of humans' roles, and we're going to let the systems follow the protocols, and then those protocols will then be put in front of the real human who will then decide, hey, how do I do it? How do I use my critical thinking, critical reasoning, my empathy, my ability to look at this person as a customer, as a consumer, as a product of that institution? That's what we were going to
mm.
start to see on campuses.
That makes sense. And so I think my takeaway from that little segment with you is it's not that AI requires you to gut your current technology and put in all new stuff. What it's going to do is sit above as a layer above all your current stuff and actually start taking the data from all those multiple places and start to put it into action so that humans can be more effective, right? So whether I'm an academic advisor or whether I'm in the call center or whether I'm a career advisor, I'm going to have access to much better data and insight. And to your point, the AI agent side of AI will leverage the LLM to have guided the student a lot further along before they talk to me. So when they come to me, they're like at step 6 of 8, not at step 0. And and it's encouraging to hear that this isn't 2-3 years away. Some schools will be doing it in the next few months. Do you want to talk real quick, Matt, before we finish up on some of the things Beyond is working on through its new company, Intellicampus? and kind of what you wanted to solve for when you envisioned Intellicampus. What was your goal, and kind of how close are we to achieving that goal?
Look, AI just happened to start to become a part of it because we started to see the value in it. But our goal in building out something was we knew that there had to be a layer above the current SISs, the ERPs, because those things are still doing transactional activities that we have seen for many years. There's going to be a user experience that is going to be driven by outcomes, and those outcomes are going to be driven by workflows. And within those workflows, you're going to have certain capabilities. And those capabilities could sit in a CRM, it could sit in an LMS, it could sit in an SIS. None of that really connects at this point in any seamless way. So we're building out that concept of it. But the important piece is, in the old days of workflow, I just send you an email, I trigger you something. There's something that a
Sure,
list is created. Oh, let me look at my self-service to see what checklist I have to go follow. Right? That's
sure.
that's old model of thinking.
Mm.
What you're going to start to see is this guided experience for every outcome a student is trying to achieve. And
For example,
yeah,
a student is looking to enroll at your institution. There'll be a guided experience. A student is looking to change their major. There'll be a guided experience. A student is requesting a transcript. There'll be a guided experience that isn't just saying, oh, workflow is receive the money, approve it, print the
yeah,
transcript, grab an envelope, stick a blah, blah, blah. It's why are they requesting a transcript, right? We want to talk about
yeah.
that, because that's what you're talking about. When you say transforming the experience, it's guiding humans using AI and AI agents for a more effective experience, while the SIS, the CRM, and all those big engines sit far behind the AI layer.
Yeah. And when we think about the experience, when we are having that interaction, let's just use the word interaction, whether it's an interaction with an AI agent or a human, what we're really going to be doing is, hey, tell us why you're doing something. Because I was just trying to get on a standby flight, but they knew I needed to get to Houston. So they were already proactively looking at the outcome of what I needed to do. And they kind of made the call for me. I didn't ask them to change my flight. They made the call. So when someone is deciding, hey, I want to order a transcript, there's so many reasons why a transcript is going to be ordered. It'd be nice for you to understand why that is being
Yeah.
ordered, right? It could be that that person's getting a new job. Well, you may want to send, hey, how do I
Yeah.
how
What's the
do I
workflow that triggers the alumni department, right?
alumni element of it? How do I support them as they transition? How do I say, hey, you're going to go into journalism major, or you're going into something else, hey, do you want to add a certification to do this? This could help you do that. Like, there's so many things that we talk about. Humans are going to feel like they didn't have a job. Well, humans, you have to interpret the things that was going to get pulled out, because in the guided pathway of getting something done, you're going to start to ask questions. You're going to start to be able to decipher what the real reason is for that person trying to get to that outcome.
Yeah. Imagine if a student ordered a transcript, which typically a human doesn't know has happened until it's time to, lick a envelope and mail something out. If the AI agent that's supporting the employee says, hey, by the way, Matt just ordered a transcript. I know Matt's been taking a couple of certification courses, and like the AI agent can educate me about what's going on in your life and make recommendations to me about how I can make your experience better.
Yeah,
So that's the power, right? So many people are excited about Microsoft Copilot and all these other tools that are coming out. Even when you use some ChatGPT, right? It's helping you be more effective. It's helping you get more done. It's taking some of the mundane, boring stuff off your plate. So think about the example you gave of all the different ways a powerful AI agent can help me. Let's say I'm the employee in the registrar's office, serve you better. It truly is amazing.
and there's so many, I call them moments that matter, that you have to react to. It may not matter to the person licking the envelope and sending it out. Like, that may not matter to them, but it should. You should wonder, why are they sending a transcript out to another school? Why are they
Mm-hmm.
doing this? what are they doing, right? Now, we
Yeah.
always look at it as retention, who's withdrawing, who has a bad grade, but there's so many other things that are happening that impact retention. But because we've been following what I call very static systems, at risk systems, looking at data, there is no pattern. There's no ways of like really interpreting things. You will start to see that change as you go. Now, you were asking about, why when we're building out this new technology, because we believe that the operations of campuses are very ineffective. I can explain to you, coming from a registrar's office and understanding admissions, knowing what advising looks like on campus. Think about all the places we are optimizing, and we're only optimizing the ERP, the SISs, and we're trying to, rescue schools out of their failed SIS, cloud moves, right? But when I look and say, man, they spent millions of dollars on
Yeah.
the legacy repaving into a new system, man, if they would take a fraction of that and pause and say, oh, let's look at AI, let's look at location intelligence, let's look at feedback loops, let's look at, like, just think about those things.
Workflow optimization. Yeah.
That's the future of work. The concept of future of work is not in theory. It's not like there's so much like Mr. Obvious stuff that you always say, Joe, like you were talking about
Well,
that, right?
well, you just sent me an article, what, 2 days ago in Slack? And it was
Yeah.
like, hey, Joe, read this article. One of the big consulting firms in our industry just released something on AI. So I'm scanning it quickly. I'm going, this is all Captain Obvious stuff. I was hoping to have like an aha moment and learn something. Like, and I was putting myself in the shoes of all the administrators and presidents and VPs who, again, they have like 2% of their time available to do anything about AI because they're so busy. And you would think that I could in their shoes have read that article or document or whatever you want to call it, white paper, and gone, oh man, 3 things I can go do right now. And when I read it, I was like, okay, Matt, all this is designed to do is give 40,000 foot view stuff. So then a person goes, we don't have time for any of this. Let's bring in the big consulting firm, right, to do the work for us. And so
So
I
if
get it. I understand why they wrote it that way.
you,
But man,
and
we got to get in the trenches at some point.
Joe, they can never get in the trenches. They've never actually understood why the details of what is happening on campus is happening. They don't understand it. So at a high level, they're experts in AI, or, hey,
Yeah.
this is the trend that we think is going to happen. But if you look behind their LinkedIn, they've never operated an office to actually change an office. They've
Or if they
never,
were tasked with, hey, transform this department,
they couldn't do it.
my guess is it would be like, hey, let's go interview people and find out what they do now, write up some recommendations, and give them a list of things to do and offer consulting services to. But
Yeah.
nothing's actually changing. What you and I are learning is we're building our own technology to help higher ed. Bring AI in, it's turning a department in a way on its head. Of we thought this is how things could operate, and we all felt so busy, and we all keep asking for more employees, and we need to hire more. We hire more. Wait a minute. I don't need to hire more. All my people can be happier. They'll be doing stuff they want to do. And for the same budget, we're kicking butt.
Yeah. Higher ed doesn't have an issue on actual resourcing and staff. People are underwater because you have
That's what it is.
humans doing what humans should not be
Machine
doing.
work. Yeah, humans are doing machine work. This is what I love about when you talk about the future of work and you explain to people that the future of work is basically what is the technology in the market today available now or will soon be available, and how do you adapt what you do to take advantage of it, right? That's really future of work, is how do you take full advantage of technology today? And when you really just look at what's available today, higher ed people could be having so much more fun.
Yeah, so in the next 6 months, Joe, as we kind of showcase what we're doing, and we welcome
The
anyone who wants
agentic, the agentic relationship,
and anyone who wants to work with us on it. We want people to work with us on it.
Mm-hmm.
You will start to see what we're talking about, because when you think about changing operations, first thing you need to realize is, what is the real reason why a change of major is being done? I'm just giving you an example. Why is a change of major being done? There is a reason for that. It's not just, oh, that person wants to just change their mind and go in. There is moments that matter that to that student that says, the path that I'm on, I am struggling with it, this is not resonating with them. There's so many different reasons why a
Sure.
person changes major, right? And then there's an outcome to that. And that outcome could be deciding what is the right path. The question is, why did that even get to that path? Why do we have so many change of majors? Why? And the reason why tuition is really high and the cost of a higher ed is high is because we have people changing majors all the time. And then the other thing we got to ask schools is, why is it that a student takes a course, but that course is not being able to be applied to a new path? Like, it doesn't make sense, right?
Follow
It's
the money, right?
school,
Yeah.
your school, let's figure this out with them, right? There's so much that needs to be thought through. So when we do the guided path, and we're starting with admissions, we're starting at admissions and walking them through. Why? Because at admissions is going to start to get that student to tell us why he or she, in a guided way, through AI and through a human and all these other things, and then the workflows are going to trigger so humans can interact at the right moments, get them in the right places, and then eventually matriculate them, get them into the right set of programs. Then during that time, we're trying to decipher, are they succeeding, what their struggles are. There's this element of like, how does humans start to be real humans to support the journey, as opposed to being humans to support the institutional need to manage a student through that campus. And that's what we do today. Most offices and things on campus is managing what institutions need to manage a student. We're
Yeah. And
not
in the
using
example,
humans to manage the actual human who is the student.
yeah, in the example you gave of a change of major, right? Today, most schools, if somebody says, I want to change my major, is really focused on the transaction of the major change. Okay,
Yeah,
what are all the steps that have to happen? Let's make sure it's all done, all that. But what about the human side of that, of the why, and where's the mental health of that student, and where are they feeling, and what's going on, and is this really the best decision for them, and what are all the other outcomes that come from it? People just don't have time to think through that. But if their time was freed up because AI is doing a lot of the other nonsense, they have time. They will have time. Even an advisor with 800 students in their portfolio will have time to really serve those students exponentially better. Yeah, so I'm glad you mentioned that we're starting with admissions and the advisor relationship, because we believe that if we can solve for that and leverage AI to make those two experiences better, the rest can come later. But that's transformative, truly transformative. It's not this 40,000 foot view. Let's talk about, there's some thought leaders in higher ed that you and I read about, and they're giving like 40,000 foot view, and there's nothing wrong with it, but that's all it is. And so we read it and we go, okay, now let's figure out what actually has to be done. And I think
yeah.
that's the power of what's happening.
So
So Matt, here's a thought. I know I haven't talked to you about this, but how could people follow what we'll be doing from January through June with a handful of schools as we put this platform in? How could they follow? How do they get insider view to what's happening? Because I know people will want to, just out of curiosity.
Yeah, I think the best way to do that is probably have a working group that wants to be a part of that conversation. Whether you're at a university, whether you're a consulting group that wants
Sure.
to do it, like, because in the end, beyond, we've always said there's so much work out there that
Yeah.
we can't do it
We
alone.
can't
So,
possibly do it
yeah.
all. No.
So we want any firm that has the same mindset as us. I think we could probably do a working group that says, hey, how do we improve all these different use cases? Because the use cases I have is through my lens, right? But
Right.
man, there are probably people on campus that say, hey, Matt, we should do this
Have you thought
also.
about this? Have you thought
Have you
about
thought
that?
about
Okay,
this,
so
right?
let's do that. Maybe for people who end up watching this, if they're interested in being part of this working group, we don't even know what it means, but at least raise your hand.
Yeah.
Raise your hand, maybe send you a direct message on LinkedIn, let them know you're interested. And then based on that, we can invite them in. Maybe once a month, they get to hear the latest update. They'll hear from the 4 or 5 schools we're going to be working with on what they're doing, and then they can suggest ideas or even just get ahead of the curve on what's really happening.
There's going to be a handful of people that are just like, I want to know what they're doing so that I can make sure we're up to speed, right? Because
And
part
that's
of this
fine.
is
That's
part of
fine.
this, yeah, part of this, Joe, is what we're doing is different. We're going to be using mindsets. Like, just think about our own staff when they go through conversations with me. Like, they're kind of like, oh my God, what is happening here? because you got to get out of your current shell. You got to get out of your muscle memory to do something different. I think you're going to start to see people that want to be there. And I would love to be able to say to people, this is why we're thinking differently. And then if this technology gets, just blows up in terms of adoption, hello, we're going to need a lot of people to help us put our framework, help us change operations at these campuses. We're gonna need a community to really deploy this, because it's going to be impactful. Because
it's what? That transfer.
Because what we're going to say is, hey, for a fraction of the cost, we're going to transform your campus. Now, you still have to maintain and manage your legacy, or you want to get into a cloud. Those are all things that you'll do on the side, but we're going to start to show, hey, with a little bit of effort, you're going to get a lot of impact that you probably have never seen before. And that's what we're really wanting to show in the next 6 months.
Okay, so cool. If you're even moderately intrigued, let Matt know. Had good conversation. I know we started talking about EDUCAUSE, but here's my summary of our time together. Everyone's talking about AI, from the 40,000 foot view industry consultants down to people like us who are in the trenches making change happen. Every software vendor is talking about AI. Most of the AI they're putting in is just designed to make their product better. But the real power of AI in higher ed is going to be when these AI agents are able to improve experience for staff members, experience for students, and really take the work off, take the pressure off. Like in your example, take the steps away, anticipate and proactively do things so that when the humans are interacting, we're at step 6 of 8, not at step 1 of 8. And that frees up time. That allows people to be more impactful. And to the term you've coined, moments that matter, in the couple hundred moments that matter in an institution, at a student's life, humans can really engage there rather than pushing paper, licking stamps and envelopes, and planning schedules. Those are all things that AI is going to do better than humans can. So is that a pretty good wrap? Any other closing thoughts before we finish up?
I think there's this opportunity for anyone, any campus leader, anybody that wants to see what we're thinking and doing. You could become a rock star on your campus by just even thinking about the things we're thinking about doing, and then being able to walk on campus and say, let us show you how to do this very effectively. I think there's going to be a lot of opportunities that we're going to say. And I want higher ed in itself to transform. So I want my peer, colleagues in other firms and to be a part of the journey that we're thinking about. Because in the end, we're all going to have to try to help these campuses change and away from the transactional configuration world that we've been living and spending on, to a, how do I change my operations with all these innovations that are in front of us? And that's going to be the exciting part of it. So anyone that wants to be a part of the opportunity that's in front of us and to build on outcomes that really matter for campuses, it'll be great to have, friends and peers and folks I've never met before.
And even a few competitors. We're happy to welcome you into the process, because like you said, there's too much work ahead. No one firm is going to be able to do it all. So we might as well collaborate.
Exactly.
Awesome. All right, Matt. Thanks for being here with me, and we'll see you all next time.